Hi everybody. One of my subscribers asked me the question as to whether or not I thought that working mothers or mothers entering the workforce, was responsible for this rampant increase in narcissism and psychopathy that we have today. Well, first of all, I think that what we have to look at is why are we always talking about the mother? Well, we're talking about the mother because it's believed that these mental illnesses are due to a failure to bond, to form an intimate relationship with the mother. And they think that if you fail to form this bond or intimate relationship with your mother, say it's your primary caretaker in the home. For example, if you're a gay couple, it would be the primary caretaker. That this person is making certain that this child's emotional needs are met. Now, I've thought about this a lot, so let's go back to the time when women started to enter the workplace, and it was during wartime. Okay, women entered the workplace during wartime in order to help with the war, to join the factories that were making the equipment for the war, for doing the work that the men weren't doing because the men were at war. Okay, so then when the men came back from war, the women just stayed working. They enjoyed their freedom. They enjoyed having their own money. Maybe they were widows. And so they just stayed working for the most part. And then you had the beginning of television. And television began, I believe, in the early 50s, if not a little bit late 40s. Queen Elizabeth gave her first Christmas broadcast in 1953. Unbeknownst to us, now in hindsight, there was mind control through the television, through the test pattern, that little thing that was going around in the television. When the programs weren't on, they ran something called a test pattern, and that just, a lot of times in the house, was just left running. We know now that that was a frequency. It's a frequency weapon, okay? Also, we had the influx of commercials to get us to change our values from family values to materialistic values. And how did they do that? Well, they first started to tell you that these items you purchased were going to benefit your family. Okay, you had to have them. You had to have the washer, the dryer. You had to have all of these electrical appliances, the new Mixmaster machine, and then it went into the dishwasher. So they told you these were going to benefit the family, but what you were actually doing was exchanging materialistic values for family values without really knowing it. Women were working, so little children went to daycare, they went to the babysitter, even though parents interviewed them and had their best intentions in mind. It wasn't their parents. They weren't spending this time with their mom and dad. They were spending with the babysitter. Who really knows what goes on there? I mean, there's a lot of really good ones. I have to say there's some that are better than parents. Some kids are better off, at their daycare or babysitter. It just depends on the situation. But what's most important to talk about here is this bonding, this intimacy, that you have to establish intimacy between the parent and the child, because without intimacy, there isn't trust. Okay, and at the basis of a narcissist and a psychopath is they don't trust anybody else. They distrust people so much that they might be hypervigilant. They might be always experiencing paranoia, thinking people are out to get them, that sort of thing. They might just think that everybody's trying to blame them for something, or everybody's trying to criticize them for something. They might feel nobody really understands them, but they might not feel like communicating because they don't feel this intimate connection. Okay? So the end result was that we had women in the workplace. We had both parents in the workplace, children being raised by the daycare. But then, when they got old enough, they didn't need daycare anymore, and they went into the school system. We thought that was okay. We thought that they were going to teach our children and educate them properly and tell them the truth. And nothing could be further than the truth. They confused our children. They taught them in very strange ways in order to confuse their thinking. Okay? They trained them, for the most part, to do jobs, not go on to college, not go on to any greater thinking of any kind. They made school so boring that your children didn't want to go. It was that bad. They created a lot of conflict in families. Families, overall, were encouraged to change, to alter, to get a new parent, get a new stepfather or stepmother. How about a new stepsister or stepbrother? Okay? How about we have an interracial family as well? Let's get that going. And how about we mix several races together and have a real interracial family? And then how about if we adopt children from some foreign country and bring them back and try to raise them in our culture and in our way? We have to realize that children, infant children, are people. They're not little, like, you don't put it in a slot somewhere. They have feelings, they have emotions. If we want to create human beings, we have to start being human beings again, and not just work machines. You got to stop identifying with your career, with your job, your hat that you wear to make money. We have to create children with very strong egos, but not egomaniacs, okay? That are acting insane to cover up a weak ego. The ego, to me, is like your ego. It's not really tangible, okay? It's one of those things you're either born with a strong one or you're not. And if you're not born with a strong one, you need a strong parent, a strong nurturing figure to help you to trust, to trust the world, to know that the world is not a place that they need to put this protective egg around themselves. They don't need to do that. Okay? They can develop the confidence in their ego to not need that anymore. Okay? To be confident little human beings with compassion and big hearts, but not little dupes either, you know. And so I think at the end of the day, the reason that we have these rampant narcissism and psychopathy today, for the most part, really has to do with it was intentional. In hindsight, it was all done intentionally. And the people that are behind it are of these types of people, okay? And so for them, it's just creating more of the perfect being, because that's what these narcissists think they are. They don't need any of your advice. They don't need any of your help. They're perfect just the way they are. So if they're creating more of them, more little narcissists, they think that's just really the cat's meow. Okay? Now, as far as psychopaths go, I'm just putting them in one lump here because these symptoms seem to be related. But the topic in general is a really good one to discuss. So anyhow, those are my thoughts. Thank you for watching.